Welcome to the latest episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. This is episode 144 and continuing the summer series of debunking nutrition myths. This is myth number 5. Organic foods are always healthier. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. I am Shelley, registered dietitian, nutritionist, your host, and the founder of Real World Nutrition. And as I said, this is a continuation of the special summer series where I am addressing and debunking common nutrition myths. As I said, this is episode 144 and myth number 5 in the series. Each week, I am tackling a different myth and addressing what is the truth to help you make informed decisions about your health and nutrition. So today's myth, organic foods are always healthier. So let me explain a little bit more about this myth. I get this topic comes up a lot when I'm out in the public speaking. I've done grocery store tours lately and pointing out some of the things while in the store. So here's the myth that tends to persist, is that organic foods are healthier, or it's superior. Now this term organic, when referring to the foods that we eat, tends to conjure some images of pristine, nutrient-rich produce, products that are free from harmful chemicals, and better for our health. People use it when they use the term clean eating. But is choosing organic always a healthier option? Is it even necessary? The truth about organic foods. Well, here's the truth. It is so much more nuanced than yes or no. Organic foods are grown and processed according to specific regulations that restrict the use of certain pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, and again, certain pesticides, and free from being a genetically modified organism. Now, this could lead to fewer pesticide residues on organic produce, which is a valid concern for many consumers. Not necessarily one that I think people need to be the most worried about, because there's plenty of other things that are quite harmful for our health. But I also want to point out that being organic, that process and growing, doesn't make food more nutritious or healthier for us. Nutrient content can vary widely in both organic and conventionally grown foods, depending on soil quality, farming practices, crop variety. And while some studies have suggested that foods might have higher levels of certain nutrients like antioxidants, the differences are so small and inconsistent across all types of produce. So when I was doing the grocery store tour recently, I picked up an apple, just an apple. I really don't know if it was organic or conventionally grown, but on one side was more red, the other side was more yellow. All that meant was that the side that had more red was more exposed to the sun. The side that was more yellow was on the shadier side. And that red side of that apple has more antioxidants in it. So it's really, really, really difficult to really measure something like this, because even with that same piece of fruit, there was differences from one side to the other. Now, I don't want people to get bogged down in some of those details and nuances, because eating an apple, regardless of what type it is, whether it's conventionally grown, organically grown, red, yellow, green, doesn't really matter as much as whether you're eating the apple. All right, so let me talk about some supporting evidence here. Research shows that the nutrient differences between organic and conventionally grown foods are minimal. If they take an organically grown tomato and eventually conventionally grown tomato and did an analysis of the nutrient content, they probably would not probably, it's pretty much guaranteed they would not be able to determine which one was organic and which one was conventionally grown because the differences are so minimal. And a large review, I'm going to link this in the show notes, a review published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that organic and conventionally grown foods are comparable in nutrient content. So again, reiterating what I just said, you're not going to have significant differences, if any, when it comes to nutrient content. That same review also noted that while organic foods are less likely to have pesticide residues or may have lower amounts of pesticide residues, the pesticides found in conventionally grown produce is typically within safety limits established by regulatory agencies. Meaning, here's the thing, while one may have more residue than the other, the amount there is so low, it's not going to have much impact on our overall health. Now, another argument here is that organic farming practices can potentially benefit the environment by promoting biodiversity and reducing pollution from synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. However, these environmental benefits don't necessarily translate into significant health advantages for consumers. So again, the differences are minimal. It is an environmental approach, definitely a benefit there. But nutritionally, again, not different. From a health perspective, not different for consumers. And another critical point is that some organic products, not just produce, but products, can be high in sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats, just like their conventional counterparts. So I've often said, an organic brownie is still a brownie. Organic cookies or snacks can still be highly processed, even if every single ingredient in there is organic. It's still a cookie, a snack food, and it doesn't deserve or need to have a health halo for it. So anybody who knows me knows I'm not shaming brownies or cookies or snacks. It's just people have this idea, and yes, I hear it. But it's organic. So what? It's still a cookie. And the differences are going to be minimal. It's not healthier. All right, so let's get into some practical tips here when whether or not you should buy organic, or when you're deciding whether to buy organic, consider some of these tips here. All right, number 1, prioritize your produce. If reducing pesticide residue exposure is important to you, you can prioritize buying organic versions of fruits and vegetables, of foods where you eat the whole fruit or the skins. So the whole fruit like strawberries and spinach, or you eat the skin such as on apples. Having organic versions of the produce in which we don't eat the skin, like bananas, avocados, and melons, is unnecessary. All right, number 2, balance your diet. So whether you're choosing organic or conventional, focus on eating a balanced diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. The overall quality of your entire diet is much more important than whether your foods are organic. Number 3, choose local and seasonal. So consider buying local and seasonal produce. Local farmers often use sustainable practices even if they are not certified organic. And seasonal produce tends to be fresher and more nutrient dense. Now, I want to just mention this. I did a podcast several years ago at the beginning when I first launched the Real World Nutrition Podcast. I think it was episode 9. I will definitely link it in the show notes, where I explain the process of becoming a certified organic farm is extensive. It is expensive. So people can't just walk around claiming that their food is organic without an extensive process. So again, if you go to a local farmer, talk to them about their growing practices and if they use organic practices, if this is a concern for you, because many of them do, and they just aren't going through the extensive labor-intensive and costly process of becoming a certified organic farm. So again, don't ignore your local farmer because they are not organic, because they just might be. Number 4, read labels. As I said already, don't assume that the organic product that you're buying means healthy. Check the nutrition labels on organic packaged food and ensure it aligns with your health goals. So be mindful of added sugars, sodium, and unhealthy fats. So again, if this is important to you, for me, it is not important. I will eat a granola bar regardless of whether it is organic or not. And I don't go out of my way to buy something that is organic. So check those labels. Don't grab that sugar-sweetened cereal thinking that it's healthier because it's organic. Or one of my favorites was people who would tell me they would eat the organic toaster pastries. I'm like, it's still a toaster pastry. It's still a toaster pastry that has a lot of processed grain, refined grain, and added sugars. Number 5, budget-friendly choices. If budget is a concern, as it is for many people, focusing on purchase what fits your budget. It is best to eat foods that have health benefits rather than skip them because of concerns about pesticide residues. So there's a lot of times where people are worried about the pesticides residues of their produce, and because they're so worried about it, they don't eat their fruits and vegetables. So that's something I want to help people understand. It's better to eat the apple than to skip it because of an overinflated, conflated concern about pesticide residue. And consider this. I picked up an apple at the store that I didn't purchase. So, of course, my hand germs are all over that. So, with anything that you get at the store, you're going to be washing it anyway. And just washing it under water, doesn't need soap, doesn't need a specialized formula. Wash it and rub it to get rid of dirt, to get rid of any germs from somebody else who picked it up and handled it before you. So again, always wash your produce. And then this another thing I'll link in the show notes is the safefruitsandveggies.com website. And that shows you can pick, it's the calculator tab. You can pick the adult woman, the adult male, teen, child, and then click on the particular fruit or vegetable you may have concerns about, and it will show you how many servings of that food you can have per day, not per lifetime, per day, and still not reach a concerning level of pesticide residue. So again, I'll link that safefruitsandveggies.com website in the show notes. So here's the deal. While organic foods can have potential benefits such as reduced pesticide residues and some environmental advantages, it is really minimal difference there, and the nutrient content is not significantly different compared to conventionally grown produce, fruits, veggies. And again, packaged snack foods, processed foods, baked goods can still be unhealthy even if it is organic. So it is important to consider the overall quality of your diet and make informed choices based on your personal health goals and your budget. So again, really don't get too worried about choosing organic. Get more concerned about choosing healthier food options, and if the organic label fits into your budget and is important to you, then go ahead and include that. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening all the way through this episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. I encourage you to follow this podcast so that way you can get the new episodes every Friday when they're released. And until next week, when I address another common nutrition myth, take care and bye for now.